Okay, we're here with Dawna Taylor from the Colorado League of Charter Schools and excited to talk to you about your new CSP grant today.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
all for having me.
yeah, we want to say congratulations first and foremost. Let's start with how much money are going to go to the students and families for the students of Colorado?
Wow. Well, we were fully awarded our asked amount in the amount of $68 million. And so we are thrilled that we will have the opportunity to share that with 36 subgrantees, which includes some of our continuation grants that came over to us from CDE. And we are looking to fund schools for up to $2 million each.
Can you talk to us a little bit about how the funding is going to help expand educational opportunities for the sector, but more specifically, you just mentioned sort of 36 subgrantees.
Sure, absolutely. The funding, we are really excited about providing a lot of technical assistance to our schools and potential subgrantees in the pipeline. We've learned a lot over the past few years with some of the offerings that we already have within our organization in terms of what our schools really need, what new operators need most. And so we're really excited that we're going to be able to offer things where we are providing training, we're providing them with consultations to help them with application preparation, helping them to understand what does it take in terms of resources for in having a quality school. And so we're really excited to be able to offer a variety of supports and services to all of our charter school sector members and non-members to support them throughout their efforts.
With these then 36 sub-grantees, can you talk through maybe some of the sort of goals or milestones that you hope that these sub-grantees achieve within the 5 years that you have the grant?
Sure. So one of the big goals that we have is making sure that we improve the quality of schools that our students have access to. Quality is huge around the country, and we want to make sure here in Colorado students have access to not just school choice, but quality school, public school choice. And so we want to make sure that again. When we talked about the technical assistance activities that we're going to be offering around the state of Colorado, we want to make sure that it is promoting an environment where our schools are not only able to open, but to remain open and to be high quality schools.
Can you talk to us a little bit about what was the process that you went through in order to sort of apply and eventually receive the grant? One of the things, right, we always want to do is help others learn from the process that each of you has extensively gone through during this time period.
So great question. And for me, it was a very it was a it was a great experience, especially coming and working coming into the state of Colorado right around the time that these discussions started as to if our organization was even going to apply for the CSP. When I started working for the league, we were positioned at the time that I accepted the offer to not apply for CSP because we just did not have the capacity on staff, and we also did not have any knowledge around what it meant to be a CSP grantee. And so, as Donna's luck would have it, it's open mouth, insert foot. I have worked with CSP for over 2 decades as a federal reviewer. And so I said, sure, I think we should go for it. And I do have the experience, but I've never really worked on the side of being a grantee. I've always worked on the other side of CSP. And so I was only willing to take on this challenge and do the work that it took to become an applicant or to go through the application process if I was supported with some quality support. And so when we heard about Lumen, we actually met with several other organizations who were doing similar work, but I felt like there was an aligned mission and vision, and I felt that the support that I was going to receive with Lumen was what made the big difference in helping me to understand that we really wanted to go through this process because I needed to know what it felt like um, from the CSP lens of being an applicant and a grantee.
Yeah, I think that's really important. What I heard in that was the organizational and mission alignment is really important, but knowing that this is a process that is extremely sort of onerous and challenging for an organization to undertake, right? The great benefit and impact that the award can have, but it comes with really building capacity starting all the way back at the application phase, right? And then once awarded, can you talk to us, right? Because I'm sure that there was a little bit of both great reward and celebration when you got the news and a lot of maybe anxiety that comes with it. So what is sort of that balance and how do you sort of plan for next steps in actual implementation of the grant?
So I'm going to back up a little bit and tell you a little bit of what I was feeling on the day that we got the announcement. So leading up into the announcement, I had always told my staff and everyone else that called in and said, if you get CSP, and I would always correct everyone and say, when we get CSP. I was very, very clear, feeling very confident because I knew all of the work that had gone into our application and I felt it was very strong. And I think I had just grown weary of waiting to hear the final announcement. And so I was literally having lunch with a colleague of mine from another organization. And she said, have you all heard anything? I said, no. And right now, I wish they'd just send us a message and let us know yes or no, one way or the other. I've had enough of this waiting game. I need to move on with my life. I'm not sleeping. And just as I said, I'm not sleeping, my phone chirped and I looked down and I got the notification, it was just such an amazing experience at that point. I did not eat, I did not drink at that point. I was just completely overwhelmed with joy. Um, and then the reality hit me probably later that weekend, like, oh my God, so that means we won. And now there's a whole lot of work that has to be done. I was like, part one, that was the easy part, I think. And now we are on to the real work of getting things done. And I never step away from a challenge. So I'm really excited about the work that's ahead for our team. And I'm excited about our new team that we've built in order to support all of the efforts. And so we've all started rolling up our sleeves and getting things going and putting in some processes and procedures that look a little different for our organization that we've not necessarily had because we ran our organization not from the standpoint of a federal lens, but now I've been working with everyone to make sure that they understand the mind shift that has to happen when you're working with federal grants.
Can you just give sort of a quick, and I realize that's a big shoes to fill there, response, but what is that mind shift? What has to take place during that mind shift that you're mentioning?
Sure. So our organization is a nonprofit organization, and mainly all of our resources come from either private donors or we also have a membership base. And so we do have processes and procedures, but quite frankly, a lot of our donors allow us to have what they consider unrestricted funds. And so they have goals that they ask us to meet, but outside of those goals, we are able to really spend the dollars to support any other work that we're doing throughout the organization without necessarily having to have permission to do different things or processes and procedures. They want to make sure that all of the dollars that they give us are being spent to make sure that we're doing the work of supporting the charter sector in whatever way we feel is necessary. And for the work that we do on the federal side really does not allow you to make decisions haphazardly. You have to be very specific in what you're asking for and how you plan to use those dollars. And I always tell people, if you get $5 from the federal government, be prepared to explain how you spent $500 because they need to understand the full context of how you run your organization, what went into the decisions that you made. And so that's part of the mind shift that we have. We also have to have very consistently implemented processes and procedures. And so that is again very different because we work in an area where quite frankly we are flexible and we're flexible based on the needs of our individual members. So all of them call and they have different needs and we respond in different ways based on who they are and what their needs are at that time. And that when you're working with federal funds, you're not necessarily able to be as flexible because everyone needs to be consistent with how we are awarding and how we're choosing to respond to different things.
A lot of work to undertake, right? For
Absolutely.
sure, a mind shift, but then also there are technical shifts that the organization also has to be willing to make. And I would say, right, be ready to explain 500 or be ready to explain it 500 different ways, right? So
That
either
part.
way, either way. I think maybe just sort of final question, tell us a little bit, right? Like, I think 36 sub-grantees, right? An opportunity to really influence and grow quality sector in the state of Colorado. But maybe like two things that you're really excited that are sort of tangible impact that you think will come out of the grant.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things that I'm excited about is the opportunity to have some innovation sparked here in Colorado. I think we have some really great schools, but we've heard some really fantastic ideas of schools that I think are going to serve students beyond what we thought we were going to be able to actually tap. So innovation is one that always gets me most excited in terms of what we're doing, and also to be able to just think outside of the box, I guess, in the same spirit of innovation, but in ways that we're able to support our schools and encourage our schools to think boldly and to take some risk is very important for me, because we have school leaders that right now they are at capacity, they have wait lists, and they never envisioned expanding. They only thought about what they currently have and didn't recognize that there were funds and opportunities and resources that could support them in either expanding or replicating. And so I take great pride in working with those school leaders to share the news with them about the types of resources that are available, and supporting them and helping to support their families and the communities that they serve.
Yeah, I think that's a really big one, right? To finally be in a position to be proactive, right? And responsive, but do it in a
Exactly.
way that is sort of directly correlated to those needs that we know either school founder, right, are having and experiencing, and really be able to sort of tailor your technical assistance to those, right? That's everyone thinks that that's what we have been doing all along, but it's mostly from that sort of lagging position. So to be in that driver's seat is really exciting. And I know how much that sort of spark of innovation, as you said, is really critical for the communities that you're serving. So appreciate that. Let's have conversations as this goes on, and let's be able to sort of share some of those lessons learned, which will be really wonderful ones, and ones that also probably, right, build some trauma along the way, but that we can hopefully, right, grow from those and then share those with others. So continuing to build those communities of practice. Really appreciate your time. Excited for the opportunity, and looking forward to see what happens over the next few years.
Thank you all so much. And I really do appreciate all of the work and support that I've gotten from Lumen. We would not have gotten to this point without you all. So we're really grateful that we were able to have this partnership in working together in the applicant phase, and looking forward to doing more work with you as we go throughout the grantee stage.
Well, us too. And I think you said, right, what is our favorite word is truly doing it as partners. And I think that's really something that I have seen in Colorado is we can be partners, but also um, being able to define what that partnership is going to mean with your 36 grantees, right? Doing so, certainly abiding by the structures and rules of the grant, but also doing so on a more in-depth basis, right? That's how we are going to build that change. So appreciate it, looking forward to it, and much more to come.